Hey, well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Brothas-in-law. And on this channel, we discuss police-involved incidents that occur around the country, and we give our analysis on whether the actions of the police officers were justified or not. And we also take a look at the actions of the citizens to see whether or not if they followed our acronym of CALM, which stands for comply, answer questions, listen, and move on, would the situation had turned out differently. Now, listen, now you may agree or disagree with us, and that's totally fine. All right. The reason why we're doing this is to give you a different perspective of why these shootings happen and what could have turned out differently had they just complied, answered questions, and listened, and had the ability to move on. So if you disagree with us, that's totally fine. Leave us a comment down below why you disagree with us, but you don't have to use insulting words and try to insult our intelligence. Mike and I both are former law enforcement police officers. I was a Virginia State Trooper for over 7 years and had 21 years of experience in the military in using use of force and gone through a lot of training on deadly force. And I'm a combat vet as well. So I like to say I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these types of things. I have conducted thousands of traffic stops and arrested hundreds of people over the years. So with that being said, Mike, welcome to the show.
Good to be back. Good to see you guys on here, Mrs. Taylor. Tone, I see you, Tone. I ain't seen you in a minute. It's good to see you back on here. I'm Mike Bradley. I'm the co-host of this show. I'm a retired police officer, 26 years in Northern California, and I'm also a 6-year Army veteran. And I too have plenty of experience in doing traffic stops, pulling people over, working the streets, investigating crime, all of that stuff, all of the above, as you say. So good to have everybody back on. We got a good show lined up for you today. It's always another video, Corey, to talk about. It's always something that people have questions about us to. Why did this happen? Or why did the police do this? Or why wouldn't they do that? There's a lot of that going on. It's always something. So today we got another one for you.
Yeah, and it's and I'm glad that the sheriff's department put it out when they did, because it was already bad information being put out there about this incident. Before we get into that, however, again, if you're new to this channel, please go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button for us. Also, if you get the chance, head on over to our merch shop and grab yourself a nice little Brothers-in-Law t-shirt. This one says, "Let your hearts not be troubled." Hashtag stay calm with the CALM acronym on the back, and help support our channel and get our message out far and wide throughout the country. So head on over and get yourselves a t-shirt. So yeah, this video here is entitled "Georgia Man Exonerated After 16 Years in Prison, then shot by the police." Now, this actually happened last Monday, I believe it was, in Camden, Georgia. And the police released the video last Thursday, because Mike and I was talking about it before the show about this getting ready to hit the streets. And so we thought we'd get a jump on. I've seen some videos out there already about it in the media. And as always, they've got the story all screwed up and got people at each other's throats that, hey, here we go, police gunning down, another man, innocent man. But I'm glad they came out with the video, because now the video shows what it is. And thank God for body cam footage. Mike, you want to go ahead and who get set it up?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, this is Leonard Cure. I don't know if our viewers have been looking at YouTube or any of the social media sites and stuff like that about this guy. First of all, let me say, if you were in prison for 16 years and you got exonerated, I mean, I always had a problem. It's always better for them to say, it's better to let a guilty man go free than an innocent man locked up. You know what I'm saying? And I am a believer in that. If you did your 16 years in prison wrongfully convicted, wrongfully whatever, I ain't gonna say it don't happen. I'm sure it does. Okay, the system ain't perfect. That's terrible. And I don't know how you can get those years back. So let me say that first, right out the top. So we can get that
agree.
Because a lot of people are going to have the issue with that alone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
agree.
That being said, we're going to look at this video on this traffic stop, okay? And we're going to tell you whether or not what we see in front of us is legit. Is it
Hey, Jesus love you.
reasonable? You know what I'm saying? Like I say, this guy was this deputy was cruising along the highway, probably doing speed enforcement, okay? And he sees his vehicle blow right by him, and he does a traffic stop. Now I'm gonna bring it up, and we're gonna start it, and we're gonna look at the video, and we just gonna tell you what we see, if what we see is reasonable or not, despite any past history or anything like that. We're just gonna tell you what was in front of us and whether we think it was reasonable.
Right.
Here we go.
And what we would have done.
Right. All right. This starts out at the deputy's car camera, and you're gonna see a silver truck pass him on the left here. Here we go.
Now, as the video is playing, there's no audio for about the first minute and 15 seconds. But as you see right here, you see that truck flying right past him. Now, pay attention to the hash marks, the center lane markers in there, and look how fast he's going now versus to where he was, which might start a little bit too early, but that's okay. And you see him catching up to him right now. He's getting ready to light him up, and he's doing well over 100 miles an hour. Now, keep in mind that is reckless driving, and that is a jailable offense. All right, I'm just gonna say that right now, and that's in most states. I would say you're doing over 100 miles an hour, you're going to jail. I'll say here in Virginia, anything over 20 miles over the posted speed limit here in the state of Virginia is considered reckless driving. Now look how long since the first time he lit him up, he's still going. He hasn't pulled over, and he can pull over to the left shoulder right there. It's safe enough. He could have stopped right there, but look how long that police officer followed him before he actually got over to the right shoulder.
And you see that at the bottom of the screen, he was going 105 miles an hour before he was able to get past that truck to pull him over.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus love it. He sure did. And the audio should be picking up here in a second.
All right.
Which, I mean, 105, that's way too fast.
Oh yeah, that's you doing over 100 miles an hour. That's something.
Get out! Get out! Put your hands back here. I ain't doing shit. Put your damn hands back here. Who are you? The staff sergeant on the sheriff's office. My name is Calvin. I don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle. In the name of who? In the name of the law of the state of Georgia. Step back here now or you're getting tased. Watch me now. Put your hands on the back of that truck. Do you see that? Put your hands on the back of that truck. The back of the truck. Both hands. Turn around. 34 Kevin, send me a nothing. One non-compliant. Your name is Officer who? Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff's Office. Who county? Camden County. Put your hand behind your back. Do I have a warrant? Wait, no. Excuse me. Either put your hands behind your back because you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now. Why am I getting tased? Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving. I'm not driving. Nobody was hurt. How was I speeding? You passed me doing 100 miles an hour. Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right? Sir, tickets in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses. I don't have a ticket in Georgia. You do now. Why? You passed me doing 100 miles an hour. And what? I'm not going. Hands behind your back. Yes, you are going to jail. Hands behind your back.
See, I changed that right there.
Put your hands behind your back. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Came to shots fired.
Hey, go back to the struggle, Mike.
What's that?
Go back to the struggle.
Okay.
Right there where you see him going through the different escalation of force.
All right.
I think you went back. Go forward a little more. A little more. Right there. Right when the fight starts.
Okay.
Now, pay attention to the officer and his use of force progressions that he's going through. Right now, he's got his taser out. So he's already warned him and told him, hey, put your hands behind your back. I'm going to tase you. Now, look at the guy. Go ahead, Mike.
Real quick, though, even before that, folks, we're going to catch up to this for a minute, Corey, but even before that, I want you guys to look at the body language and everything. We're going to talk about the deputy and what I think he kind of was erroneous, if you will. But first, I want you to look at this driver and what kind of message is he sending to the deputy. So he gets out of the car.
Get out. Put your hands back here. I ain't doing shit.
Pop. He says, I ain't doing shit. So what kind of red flag is that sending to the deputy? When you get pulled over, you get out your car and you say, I ain't doing shit. Okay. Right now, that let me know that this might be end up in a fight because you already showing me that you are going to be confrontational.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have to force you to do something. Okay.
Yep.
Now let's keep going.
Put your hands back here.
Okay, the officer tries to go hands on. What does he do? He flinches away. He pulls off. Get off me. Okay, that lets you know the fight is probably gonna be on here in a minute. Okay, that's what that officer is thinking. I'm probably gonna have to get into a fight with this guy at this moment. Okay, now let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Who are you? Staff Sergeant on the Sheriff's Office. My name is I don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle. In the name of who? In the name of the law of the state of Georgia. Step back here. Now you're getting tased. Watch me now. Put your hands on the back of that truck. Do you see that? Put your hands on the back of that truck. The back of the truck. Both hands.
Now, do you guys think this is normal behavior for somebody getting pulled over and trying to comply and follow instructions? Let me ask our viewers that. Do you think this is normal? All right, let me show you the next red flags that's going on here. And Corey, you can see it. He tells him to put his hands on the back of the vehicle. He does, but he's still facing the deputy. That's odd. That's awkward. People, when you put your hands on the back of the vehicle.
Well, hold up, because that's one thing that we talked about when I have new troopers getting out of academy. When you give instructions, you have to pretty much really break it down Barney style, if you will, because if you don't, you're going to get it just like that. What was the question that he asked him? Put your hands back there.
He did.
That's all he said.
Okay.
Put your hands back there.
I see where you're going.
What do we really want him to do? Hey, I need you to get back here, face the vehicle, and put your hands on the truck.
I understand where you're coming from.
But his mindset, he did what the officer told him to do. Put your hands back on the back of the truck. And he did that. So again, let me finish before I forget.
Go ahead.
But what a reasonable person would do, I believe, would have the common sense and the knowledge to know that, all right, I got to turn around and face the truck.
Especially somebody who's been in the pen for 16 years.
Right. You've been in there for 16 years, unjustly in there for 16 years.
Sure.
So does Right. So does he have a lot of, animosity towards the police? And
Right.
he, acting this way, being funny?
Right. Now,
But
we
is
don't
it a
know
red
if
flag? Yes.
yeah. We don't know if this deputy knows that this guy had just got out of prison, which was 3 years ago before the stop, by the way.
Right.
But we don't know if he knew that about this guy. It really doesn't matter at this point. That was an after the fact type of thing. I don't know if this deputy knew that at the time he stopped him.
Well,
But
like you just said, it was 3 years prior. So
right.
how does he know? He doesn't know everybody that's locked up in jail and who's, is supposed to be locked up and who's under there on a false pretense. How is he supposed to know that? Did you know that?
No, yeah, I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have immediately known his criminal history right there just at this moment.
Right. No.
But for me, this posture that this driver is taking by putting his hands on the back, yeah, he put his hands on the back like we told him to, but he's still facing me. That's clearly someone, in my opinion, I would interpret that as you are getting ready to fight me or you getting ready to run. One of the two, because there's a reason why you are locked on vision on what I'm doing and where I am. Right. You're trying to size me up. You're trying to look to see where I am. You want to have some kind of position of advantage over me. That's why you still facing me while you putting your hands behind the back.
Or he's just being defiant.
Right.
Because he has that animosity, towards law enforcement and being wrongfully, convicted of something that he didn't do.
Now, we got a lot of comments. Let's see. Yeah, there were simple commands. And yeah, Corey, you're right. Technically, he did follow the command about putting your hands on the back of the truck. However, the way he did it is a different interpretation than most people, I think, have. But let's continue on here. Let's continue on here.
Turn around.
Okay. Okay, come on now. You getting ready to fight or you getting ready to do something?
Your name is Officer Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff's Office. Camden County. Put your hand behind your back.
Turn it up just a little bit, Mike.
No. Excuse me.
Okay. No. You ain't going. I'm not gonna put my hands behind your back. Okay, there's another red flag. Yeah, you definitely getting ready to fight, or you definitely getting ready to run. One of the two. Okay.
One of the two.
Yep. One of the two.
Yeah, put your hands behind your back because you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now. Why am I getting tased? Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving. I'm not driving. Nobody was hurt. How was I speeding? You passed me doing 100 miles an hour. Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right? Sir, tickets in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses. I don't have a ticket in Georgia. You do now? Why? You passed me doing 100 miles an hour. And what? I'm not going hands behind your back. Yes, you're going to jail. Hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
Go ahead and start what you were getting ready to say, Corey, on this use of force stuff.
So you see how he was tensed up.
Yeah.
Right there. So, and I agree with you because we were talking before the show started. It was like almost like he was expecting that tase and he was bracing himself for it. Because even now, watching it a little closer now, I see he positioned his left leg forward as he,
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Extended his right arm out to brace himself to receive that shot.
Right. This is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're going to jail. Hands behind your back.
So that guy he's standing. Like
look how he's standing. Okay.
Yeah.
And for folks who don't know, when you get tased, it's a 5-second length. That's when we let off the trigger, and we can only hold that down for 5 seconds. Okay. This guy knew that. Okay. Because as you could see, he locks up and he rides the wave like he had ridden that wave before. And he rides it for 5 seconds. Right after that 5 seconds, he turns around and starts fighting.
Put your hands behind your back.
Yeah, see. Right there. Stop right there. And he pulls out the ass. Get Pride to go back like maybe 2 seconds. He pulls out his ass.
That's the baton he's pulling out, y'all. Just so you know.
So rules of engagement, escalation of force, right? Number one, we start out with the presence, the lights, right? Boom, right there. He pulls it out, and he's hitting him with it, trying to hit him with it. All right, so right now we've had the presence in the uniform, we've had the verbal commands. He's not listening, right? And then he go right into the tase because he refused to put his hands behind his back. Tase didn't work. Guy turns around, bucks on him, locks him up. Now we're engaged in a fight. Well, he tried to tase him again when he was close to him, but that didn't work. So he drops the taser, and now he pulls out his ass. And you can't see it in this angle, but the ass is in his right hand, and he opens it up and tries to hit him with it. Now, keep it moving. Now, we've already went through it. So now what do you all think is the next step in this?
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
Right there. You don't see this, but
it happened so quick.
It happened so quick. When he falls, that's when he was shot. You don't hear the shot.
Right. The officer shoots him in the right side. He shoots he shoots him on his left side. And that's what causes him to fall down. Let's play it again.
Yep.
There, he shot him. So he didn't shoot him while he was standing over him, like I initially thought. He shot him in the fight.
And how many times did he shoot? He used enough force necessary to stop the threat.
Stay down. Do not get up. Stay down.
And the guy's still going. And he puts the ass up in the windshield, right? Because he used it. So you knew what was going to happen.
Stay down. Stay down. Stay down.
Yeah, he's tired. That took a lot out of him.
At this point, he's exhausted, probably in some kind of shock too, because he keeps saying "stay down." He keeps saying that over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Rightfully so, and understandably so. You just shot somebody, you know. So yeah, it's gonna be traumatic for you too, not just for the person that was shot, but for the officer too. Okay. I just shot somebody. I just got into a street fight with somebody. I'm exhausted, okay? And my last effort was to shoot him, and now I got to make sure he doesn't get up and attack me again. Just because you shot somebody don't mean they can't still get up and hurt you.
Yeah, man. He called for help back in the very beginning of it when he asked him to get out of the car and get back to the rear car, and he didn't do it. He had called for help then, and then once he shot here, I think here in a second he's gonna call out again that shots were fired.
All right, let's keep playing.
Stay down! Do not get up!
So that guy right there in the right in the blue shirt, that guy was, I don't know if you paid attention, but he was the armored
vehicle, that
came up and was now I have a problem with that. Because look at his finger, he got his finger on the trigger. Like,
yeah, I noticed that too. I
don't know if that's what their protocol is. I mean, I get what he's doing as assisting the officer, see the officers in distress, but however, should he be drawing down on somebody? I don't know.
I don't know. I like to say, I understand why he did it. Folks, this guy right here, from what our understanding, is not a police officer. He was the armored truck that happened to come on the scene, see what was going on, and decided to to help the officer. But yeah, as you can see right here, his finger is on the trigger. Yeah, me and Corey, we both have a problem with that because what your best safety is your index finger, your trigger finger. So if he messes up and accidentally shoots the guy again, you know what I'm saying? Because he had his finger on the trigger. I didn't like that either.
Yeah, Tom, that was definitely a him or me situation. You hear the suspect was saying he was choking up. Yeah, I heard what he was saying. You know, we don't know this guy's mindset, why he was going acting this way. You figure after being exonerated after 16 or 17 years in prison, you it wouldn't be wrong for you to just to comply and find out what's going on.
Oh, all right, I got something to say about that, but let's finish the vehicle.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Handcuff the suspect, rightfully so. Standard practice right there. Even if he shot.
Yep, that's standard procedure. Now help comes.
You see how long it took the cavalry to get there.
Yeah. And see, that's the one thing that always used to get me, Mike. Is like sometimes they take your help to get the 20 minutes to get to you.
And now they start first aid. Now they start first aid. But let me ask our viewers. You see that. How long do you think that was? I mean, when you in a fight with somebody on the side of the road, Corey, okay, and you waiting for your cover, you got to last long enough, at least to survive the encounter. You got to last long enough before you get help. You got to last long enough when you in a stone cold street fight with a suspect. You got to last, and if that means you got to kill the dude. If that means, what I mean by that is if that means you have to use deadly force, you're going to have to use deadly force because you don't know what this guy is trying to do to you. This guy is clearly fighting you. Clearly, you don't know if he's going to stop with a punch. You see how he was grabbing his neck, pushing his head down. As far as this officer's concerned, his life was in jeopardy. Mine would have been too. If I was the officer in this position, I would have felt the same way. And be like, hey, I don't know if this guy gonna kill me or not. I'm gonna have to shoot him. Boom. I would have shot him too at that point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. After exhausting all my stuff, people can say all day, de-escalation. Maybe, okay, if I could play devil's advocate a minute here, Corey.
Go ahead.
Maybe when he pulled the guy over, maybe the officer shouldn't have been so hot himself, upset about the violation. I could say that.
Well,
but that doesn't excuse what happened with this suspect.
Right. That's fair. But, there are times I would be pissed off like, dude, you're doing 110 miles per hour during rush hour. Yeah, you're hot. And then they know you're behind them and they still don't want to stop. Yeah, I would get out and I'd be, hey man, get out the car now. Yeah, I would be a little hot because now I have to pursue you to get you stopped. Now you putting my life in danger because I gotta stop your crazy behind before you get somebody killed because of your recklessness, right? So be honest with you, I have no problem with his tone of voice.
Okay,
because that's part of, one is your adrenaline. You're pumped up because he's got to do 110 or whatever to catch up to him. And his adrenaline is going, and you're hot, and you're not pulling over. He went from the time he, turned his lights on and sirens on, how far did he have to go before he actually got the guy stopped?
Pretty far, because if he was doing 100 miles an hour, he went pretty far.
Yeah. and so, you as the officer, yes, I'm going to be a little upset when I come up there to you.
A little huffy.
Yeah, you are. And it's natural. So I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. And if you notice also, when he shot him, the officer stepped back and just had his gun trained on him. He didn't start first aid right away. Now, I only say that because there will be people who say, well, the officer didn't do first aid on him quick enough. He could have survived if he would start first aid. After I shoot you, I ain't doing nothing to you until I get a cover there, first of all. And even when I get a cover there, there may be medical personnel on scene by that time too. Okay. Right. So I ain't doing first aid until I'm settled down and I get a cover unit there. Okay. And that's what happened here. Once this officer had another deputy come on scene, you could see he started first aid. Okay. Right. And that's what he's doing. He started first aid on him. And this is the same officer that was shot him, was doing the first aid, not the cover officer. You know what I'm saying? But people will question, well, look how long it took before they started first aid on him. That's why, because after you shoot somebody, you ain't doing first aid until the scene is safe.
Yeah.
And that scene is not safe until that suspect is handcuffed and I got a cover unit on scene.
Right. And again, that's all right. To my mother's point, it got to be very dangerous. In fact, one of the fights that I've been in, on the side of the road, we weren't on the shoulder like that. We were in that lane 3 of travel right there to the left of the solid white line. We were in there fighting. And they could have easily, gotten into that lane of travel and got hit by another vehicle coming down the road. I mean, so it was definitely a dangerous situation to be in. I mean, and you're not even thinking about, cars coming down the road. I mean, you're so you get that tunnel vision. You're locked in. You're just focused on right here, right now. You're just focused on that fight that you're in now. And one wrong move, they both could have got smashed by an oncoming vehicle, because we know there's people out there that don't move over when they see a police vehicle on the side of the road.
And you see how close they were to that first lane right there, the number 2 lane. Right. You see how close they were. That officer, he was exhausted fighting. He still has to worry about the cars coming that might hit him as he's standing over his trunk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so, they have to be careful. But it's sad that it happened. I didn't say that, first of all. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna play the rest of this or not, but oh shucks, I have to link the video down in the description below so you watch it in its entirety if you want to. The officer is definitely very emotional at the end of this. He's on camera and everything, and you hear his audio of him, crying. Right?
You want me to play it?
Oops. Yeah, if you get
I just messed something up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'll play out. We'll finish playing it out real quick. There's not too much left.
Yeah.
Hey, you look at me. You ain't going no damn where.
He hoping he don't die.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping you ain't going no damn where. That's why he said that. Need a statement from that armored car guy. They're clearing the truck. That's normal stuff. Make sure ain't nobody else in there. No other threats.
And they get right in there and start administering first aid. I mean, they have to check on him too to make sure he's straight. They get him out the way. I mean, he's exhausted. I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
Yeah.
And nobody, and I don't care, who watches and who sees this, but the 98% of the good officers that are out there, yes, we know there are bad apples out there. Nobody wakes up every day, put that uniform on, and heads out and plans to get into situations like this.
No.
Nobody does that. Um, I never did, and I can vouch for the people I worked with in my in office that I worked out of. No, none of them put that uniform every day and it's like, oh yeah, who we gonna do gun down today? Nobody wants to be in that situation.
We've all been in maybe fist fights when we were kids. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you, to be in a fight like that as an adult, it takes a lot out of you, and it don't take long. I mean, I've been fortunate that all the fights I've been in have been more than just me. I had help. You know what I'm saying? And it might, even when it took a while, it might have taken longer than normal. I had a cover unit with me. I was fortunate that in the agency in the city I worked for, we had a cover unit pretty quickly when we called for one. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we were in a fight. You know what I'm saying? Unlike you, Corey, when you're on that highway, your cover unit could be 15 minutes out. And let me tell you something, folks.
Yeah.
Even training, we used to train, and our part of our arrest and control training, we would hit a beanbag, basically a punching bag, right, with a baton, and we would time ourselves, and we would do it full force, as intense as we could possibly do it. And let me tell you, in about 2 minutes, there were some dudes wearing out pretty quick after you are exerting yourself that fast for a short period of time. All right. Even if you were in shape, you're going to be breathing pretty heavy when you're done with it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're doing CPR on them right now, Mom, is what you're seeing the officers do.
Yeah.
And when you're exhausted like that, and I like think at that time I was in really good shape, still going to the gym every day or every other day, I think it was back then. And but all that, I mean, you exert a lot of energy.
Yes.
Trying to have, and then in my situation, the one I was in, the one that I talked about the most, I think that was probably the scariest one I've been in, because it was night, it was cold out, and we're in lane 3 fighting, and when you're done and you're sucking in all that cold air, I mean it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help too when they're on high on drugs and drunk.
Right.
I mean that strength that they possess at that moment is just like, holy cow, why can't I get this guy under control? You know what I mean? And he's skinny as olive oil.
We've
you're like,
come across some strong people.
Yeah.
That you look at them and you wouldn't think they'd be that strong, but man, you know what I'm saying? It's a fight. To try to get, I mean, something as simple as getting somebody's hands behind their back when they're resisting you.
Yeah.
Can be, you got to have some strength. Okay. Yeah. So, but switch it up a little bit. Why do you think this guy did that? Why do you think this suspect approached this officer that way, got out of the car, and behaved in the manner in which he did?
That's a good question for the viewers. Like, why would you assume, if you're that officer and you rolled up on a situation like this, what are your thoughts going through your mind right now? Like, well, why are you doing this? Like, it's been plenty of times when, would stop somebody and, you get out and you explain to them what happened and, hey, sit tight, I'll be right back. And then you come back with the ticket, and it's like they flip the script. And next thing you know, now, you're fighting. Like, I would go back to my car and I would shut everything off, and I would just yell like, what the blank just happened? Like, They just totally flipped the script. Now, you would think this guy's mindset would be a little bit different after being, yeah, Tom, 16 years of being wrongfully locked up, pinned up inside him. Could be.
Yeah,
Could
I
be.
think that could be too. Tone.
Could be.
Matter of fact, I think you hit the nail on the head. If I were to, think of that, that was probably frustration with the system, frustration with the police, frustration with law enforcement in general. You were wrongfully convicted and did 16 years in prison and lost 16 years of your life. Okay. That might have been something that would cause that kind of reaction. Although I'll admit, of course, we know that the reaction he showed was completely unreasonable.
Yeah, and definitely unreasonable.
And the fact that he got shot, I could definitely see that in this situation. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to go back and look at his behavior and why someone would behave that way. You know what I'm saying? Now,
I get that part, but you're okay. That's 3 years now, man. You hopefully the state has compensated you for those 16 years of being wrongfully imprisoned, because normally they compensate those that were improperly incarcerated. So he's got a nice payday. Hopefully he got a nice payday out of that to try to move forward and get his life together. All right. I don't know.
Sometimes I hear when they get wrongfully convicted, Corey, and they get released, they get pennies to the dollar if they get anything. I've heard that too.
But I've heard them get hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even in some cases almost upwards to $1 million.
Not to change the focus on why this guy got shot by this officer. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to figure out what would cause someone to behave that way. Now, there are people who behave that way who hadn't been in jail for 16 years. You know what I'm saying? So, but I Jesus loves you. I think you're right. I think he had a lot of pent up frustration. He didn't want to go back to jail. That guy said, "You going back to jail?" He probably had the attitude, "I definitely ain't going back to jail." You know what I'm saying? And that's what caused.
And that could have been that did. Yep, that could have been a trigger right there.
Now,
in his mind, he probably thinking he ain't do nothing wrong. Because what I ain't doing when you get a ticket, you get a ticket 100 miles. Well, nobody got hurt. It doesn't matter. Nobody got hurt. You can't drive down the road 100 miles an hour.
In that situation, it sounded like he was going to take him to jail. It sounded like he was going to book him into jail. So
you're right. He was.
It's now. I had read somewhere shortly before we started the show, Corey, that this officer was either fired or let go, dealing with some excessive use of force in another department back in 2017. I think the article said, and I understand that, but again, like we said before, we looking at this video and telling you whether the actions were justified in this particular incident or not. I don't know about before what this officer did before. It really don't matter. It doesn't justify anything that this suspect did, and it definitely justifies this officer's actions as far as why he shot him. You know what I'm saying? But people will bring that up and they'll say, well, this officer shouldn't have been on the street in the first place. That's really beside the point. Maybe he shouldn't have been on the street. Okay?
But I mean, it did. Well, I mean that. Yeah, you still had to look at what happened right now.
Right. It don't matter if he shouldn't have been on the street at that moment. He was an officer on the street doing officer stuff, doing lawful activities. Okay.
Right.
Tone doesn't change that.
Tone asked, did the officer ever ask why he was speeding? No, I didn't hear him ask that.
I didn't hear him ask that either.
But at that point, like I said, when he got up to the car, the initial response from him was to get out of the car and get back to the rear of the car and put his hands on the back. But never asked him what was the reasoning for him to go on, that fast. And he doesn't have to ask him that reason.
Yeah, it don't really matter. I mean,
it's still,
but you know
what I think would it have made a difference if he told him the reason why he was speeding? Could that had altered the officer's, response? For example, what if he was saying that, hey, my girlfriend just called and she's in labor, she's getting ready to have the baby, I'm just trying to hurry up, get to the hospital.
Who knows? Who knows?
We'll never know.
It didn't happen like that.
It didn't happen like that. But could that? I mean, and again, that's why we ask questions. And in fact, I had a guy like that one time. He was doing 100. Stop him. Hey man, what are you in such a rush for? Hey man, I'm on my way to the hospital. My girlfriend just called and said, hey, she's going into labor now. And I believed him because he also had the hospital band for the fraternity ward on his wrist, and I looked at the date on it, made sure it was straight, and all that was good. So I wrote him a ticket and let him go. Could I have taken him to jail? Yeah, I could have taken him to jail. But how would that made us look as a department? This guy, is on a child being delivered. He misses a kid's delivery. Do you want that type of media being brought down on your department?
I had that once with a doctor. Doctor who was headed to the emergency room to do surgery. And I let him go. You know what I'm saying? I substantiated what he was telling me, and I let him go. So I mean, that's a good question, Corey. If there were some circumstances, but here's the thing, though, Tone. I doubt that there was any justifiable circumstances for him speeding, because if there was, that guy seemed like he would have said that right out the front. Instead, he was confrontational right at the get-go. He got out that car talking about, I ain't doing shit. That's what he said.
That's what he said. He said he wasn't. And that right there is the first red flag. That's you're going to get
right there.
Yeah, but I just think it's. I'm glad, like I said in the beginning, that the sheriff's department came out and put the video out there the way they did, because there were already certain media outlets that were saying that he was wrongfully murdered and gunned down, and all these other things. Like, man, that's true. That's pretty bad. But then police department's like, no, we got to put this out now, and showed them that. And when I saw it, I was like, oh man, that's a whole different story than what the news media was putting out. And that's why I say it's so important to not rush to judgment when these police involved incidents come out. We just wait till the body cam footage come out, wait till more evidence comes out, and then you draw your own conclusion. Leave your emotions out of it, right? Don't worry about if the subject is black or white, or if the police officer is black or white. Leave all that emotion mess out of it and look at what you got, right? And make your decision. Is that what a reasonable officer would do? Is that what a reasonable citizen would do? And make your own assessment on it. Because this is how they get us all spun up. They get us angry. They get us, at each other's throat, blacks against whites, whites against black. For what? It's almost like that's what they want. We can't have that. This is why we do it. Listen, wait.
When I first saw the video, I didn't realize at what point the deputy shot him. I thought the deputy shot him when he was on the ground, and the deputy stood over him and shot him. I didn't realize that the deputy shot him in the middle of combat. Basically, as he was standing up, he was able to pull his gun and shoot him in the side of the chest area. So I didn't see it at first. So I jumped to conclusions, was like, that's a gray area now. But now that I see the video clearer and understand the video, then now I can see, no, that was definitely a justified shooting, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, what did he have reason to fear for his life? Yeah. I mean, what would you do if your head was bent back like that and he really had the upper hand on you. And you've used all thus far, you used, your verbal commands, your presence, you're in uniform of authority, weren't displaying a badge of authority, you use your taser, you use the abs, none of that worked. So your next level of force is deadly force. I got to stop the threat. I got to get this guy off of me before, he kills me, throws me in the road, whatever could have happened. I have to stop him. And here again, he shot him one time and he dropped. Done. Now, had he kept, pursuing after the deputy or the staff sergeant or whatever he's sergeant, and he shot him again and again until he dropped, then you keep going till the threat stops. And he did that. He shot him one time, right? So it's not excessive use of force.
No, but at the same time, though, I don't want to make it sound like you only supposed to shoot him one time. That's not the case. Obviously, we know that's not the case in every scenario. Sometimes you just pulling that trigger until that threat is stopped. And I could pull that trigger 5 times in a half a second. You know what I'm saying? And that's 5 shots. So we're not saying necessarily that it only takes 1 shot. You know what I'm saying? We're just saying in this situation, that's what we saw. That's all we're saying. We ain't saying that he rightfully only shot him 1 time. We saying he rightfully shot him, and we observed that he shot him once. That's it.
Right. And now, could he have gotten 2 or 3 shots off? Yeah, but the way it happened so fast, maybe 2 shots.
Yeah, it happened pretty quick.
But definitely one for sure. Yeah, because as soon as he shot, and I only heard one little pat. And it's very faint. You have to go back and listen to it again, turn your volume up. But I only heard one shot ring off.
Yeah, unless we missed something.
Yeah,
it looked like he was on 1 shot, but we could be wrong on that. I mean, maybe we weren't right there
again, though. But to your point, Mike, it doesn't really matter where it was.
No, it doesn't.
Right? You shoot to stop the threat, and whether it's 1 or 5, when the threat is stopped, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went to the ground, so if he got 2 shots off and he dropped, then that's what it was. It was 2 shots. It took 2 shots to take him down. But I just want my message to the world is calm down. Don't go out here and burn your communities down for nothing. Let's just wait. You got this video out here now. Look at it if you want. Share it with your friends and family, and tell them, hey, let it play out. If they're gonna, charge the officer for whatever reason, which I don't think they will.
You'd be surprised, according to the way things are going now, man. You'd be surprised.
Okay. If you did that, you're wasting a lot of people's time and you're wasting a lot of money. I mean, and you had the video footage. I mean, that speaks a lot of volume right there. What happened?
They're gonna play an angle of he didn't de-escalate. That's a famous word now. He didn't de-escalate. It's a famous word to citizens. That's always been a word to police.
What more could he have done?
They're gonna always, but they're gonna always.
What more? What more? You should he have gone and pulled out a couple of lawn chairs and cracked open a couple of beers and had him sit down?
I agree with you. I agree.
Let's discuss this.
I agree.
Man, you're doing 100 miles an hour down the highway. Who knows? You could have, lost control and took 3 or 4 cars out and killed somebody. Right. And then the thing was, well, why'd you let him blow right past you? You seen him drive right, and people are gonna say, well, he flew right past the officer, and the officer didn't ever stop him. You know what I mean?
I mean, you already got the family up there in arms. Talk about the officer used excessive force and this and that. And I mean, that's the standard now. Your family member gets shot. You want to naturally, you want to lash out. I think it's lashing out. Their son, their their father in this situation wasn't wrongfully shot. He
Yeah.
was unfortunately shot, okay, but not wrongfully shot. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to answer my mom. Yeah, because the way society is now, the cops, you want to hold them more accountable now, and rightfully so. We've had bad shootings.
Sure.
Nobody's disputing that, and,
Sure.
and we need to do more to hold them accountable, and rightfully so. But when you have the video footage out there, which is your evidence, and it clearly shows that he used the proper escalation of force to de-escalate a situation. You know, they're still going to make him be on desk duties and you know, go through all the formalities and everything. And the DA is going to do their investigation, see whether or not a crime was committed. If they did do that, Mike, I mean, it's Georgia now. Georgia is kind of out there now, doing some things, and so they may try to bring him up on charges. And just bet on how much. I mean, they got the family supposedly have hired that Benjamin Crump. So you hired him now, so you know he's probably gonna find anything he can to try to get himself out there in the limelight and make this about some type of a racial issue.
Yeah, I think, like I say, unfortunately, the guy was shot. You know, it's unfortunate that it came to that. I wish it wouldn't have came to that. Most reasonable officers, any reasonable officer, wishes that it doesn't come to a shooting. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, in this situation, it did. You know what I'm saying? And it happened. It happened. So only thing we can do, folks, is tell you whether or not our opinion as what we consider would be a reasonable officer. We could tell you whether or not we think that's reasonable or not. Is that within reason? Because there's something else could have. Is there anything else that could have been done in that situation to avoid having to shoot that guy? I don't see anything that could have been done. You can't slow time down. You can't. You ain't gonna just jump in your car and let the guy go and walk away. If you plan to arrest the guy, well, he clearly is showing you that he ain't gonna voluntarily be arrested.
Right.
Okay. Matter of fact, he will attack and fight you if he has to, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear from the moment he stepped out of that truck what his intentions were. And it was, I'm not going to comply with what you're telling me to do. And it ultimately ended up him losing his life. Man, I don't know, man. It was bad. And I hate seeing these things happen. But, you know, dude, you just spent 16 years of your life locked up wrongfully. I mean,
that part only to be killed 3 years later.
To be killed 3 years later.
Very sad. Now I can understand
that hurts.
maybe, like you said, that's probably why he reacted the way he reacted, because there was a lot of pent up anger. They stole 16 years of your life, and now this cop is threatening to take me to jail for excuse me. He's starting to take me to jail for what I perceive as a moving violation, a traffic ticket. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, he didn't comply. He didn't go along with the program, which is why he lost his life. Okay. Yeah. That's it in a nutshell, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, y'all, let us know what you think. Hit us up with the comments, whether you found this video interesting. Go ahead and leave us a comment down below. We want to thank everybody for watching us this evening. I'm going to put the link down in the description below. If I don't do it tonight, I'll do it tomorrow. so you can check out the video in its entirety and pay close attention to what we were talking about and listen for that shot. I had to see how many times he did get a round off, but I only heard the one. And so, hey, share this out, please. Like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, Mike, final words.
You guys have a safe weekend. Tone, it's good to see you back on
here.
here.
Tone, good seeing you, baby.
This is Taylor. I appreciate you guys joining in and giving us some comments. We like to address the comments.
Stacy.
Yeah, we see you guys all on here. And until next time, we'll have another one for you.
Yeah. Again, if you see something interesting, you want us to give our take on it, please hit us up on Facebook. Message us the video, and we'll get it on the show. All right. And with that being said, good night. God bless. And we love you. And we'll see y'all next week at 8:10.
There you go.